Hello, everyone, and just want to welcome you to the Myrtle Beach Real Estate TV. My name is Greg Harrelson with Century 21, the Harrelson Group, and my co-pilot and co-anchor of this news channel is Abe Safa. How you doing, Abe?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today we want to talk about, what's going on in the real estate market and just really show you how good the real estate market is right now. And what's important is there's a lot of people that can say, oh, the real estate market's good. It's almost that's a natural thing to say. But we want to show you the actual numbers, share with you some data, and then talk about our interpretation of the data. Why do we think the data is so good, and what do we see kind of in the horizon? So Abe, you're really good with the data. Why don't you go ahead and break it down for us, and then we'll circle back and kind of describe what we think's going on.
Absolutely, Greg. And I want to make sure we're going to focus specifically on single family homes.
Okay.
Because that's especially strong right now in our market. Especially when you hear other markets have really slowed down during this COVID-19 phase that we're going through, but our market is still extremely strong. And when I tell people the numbers, they don't believe it. That's why we wanted to do this show and actually show you the numbers. So the first number I want to show everybody, one of the biggest variables that we look at to see how strong a market is we look at how many homes are on the market and how many of those homes are actually under contract with a buyer. So right now, when we look at every single family home that is on the market right now, relative to how many are pending, 32% of every single home is under contract right now, Greg. That's almost a third.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sounds like a lot, right? And it is. And it really sounds like a lot when you compare it to what a normal time is. So pre-COVID-19, we've been hovering in the 34 to 35% range every single month for a while now. So now think about that. A lot of markets around the country have really slowed down, and people think that there's no real estate to be sold. And we barely budge from what a normal month looks like as far as percentage of homes under contract, 32%. So why do you think that is?
Yeah, and it's a great question. I mean, so, one of the things that I think about is this. Number one is a lot of sellers, property owners that were thinking about selling as soon as COVID-19 kind of hit America and the volatility in the economy started, stock market started going up and down. I think homeowners said, hey, maybe I'll just sit back for a while and see what happens. Okay. And so we already had low inventory levels. So in the last 45 days, we've had even less homes coming on the market. So even fewer inventory coming on the market. At the same time, you have buyers still needing to buy homes. So the inventory level went from low to lower. And the buyer demand may have shifted a little bit, but it didn't shift down nearly as much as the inventory. Plus, I'm going to say one other thing. This is going to be baked into that pending number, is there are some local builders, or national builders that are building in our local market, that they've actually been accepting more contracts with contingencies. So if somebody had a home or wanted to buy a property, but they had a home in California to sell, a lot of times the new construction community would say, no, we will not take this contract until you have the other property either under contract or at least for sale. Right now, some of these builders are willing to go ahead and sign contracts, put this contract property into pending status, even though the contract itself might not be as solid as before. So you got low inventory, and you got the willingness of new construction communities, the willingness to accept more offers and ratify those contracts and put them in pending status.
Absolutely.
That's what I see.
That's a great observation, because I'm getting a lot of emails myself from developers. Yeah, and they're doing promotions. One offered $10,000 if you bought a buyer the other day.
Yeah.
Some are offering $5,000. This is above and beyond what they're doing for the actual buyers. These are incentives for the agents to bring buyers to them. And here's an interesting stat. Of all the homes that are pending right now, 54% of the homes pending are new construction.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about inventory, because we are experiencing a very, very low level of inventory right now. What I'd like to do is pull up a chart. This is directly from our multiple listing service, our market stats, and I wanted to show people exactly what we're looking at when it comes to inventory. Let me pull that up here real quick. So when we look at this right now, this is a single family home all types, and we're going to go back as far as we can. This is the inventory of homes for sale, all right, for the month of March. This is as of the end of March. We were at 3,768 homes on the market. Now, that seems like a lot. That sounds like a big number, but it's actually very low. If we go back, we have to go all the way back to 2009 to see an inventory level that's lower than that. So all the way to March of 2009. So you see how we kind of peaked during the recession. Inventory just kept climbing and climbing. And then from there, it kind of flattened out. And then, you know, when things started heating back up, middle of 2010, all of a sudden inventory just kept dropping and dropping. And now we're at the lowest level in 11 years as far as single family homes.
Wow.
So that's, I mean, that's a really strong indicator right there. And when we look at what it is currently today, we're at 3731 as of today. So it went down a little bit from where it was at the end of the month. So 3731 again puts us the lowest level of inventory in a long time.
Yeah.
Now, so the interesting part is look at you know, you pointed out to new construction, Greg. Let's take a look at that real quick. Look at the inventory of new construction. Yeah. So going back when it was really low during the recession, when builders weren't building anything, it just kept growing and growing as the economy was getting better. And then here you can kind of see it try to, you know, sizzling down a little bit. And then here we're at 1511. So out of 3731 homes on the market, 1,500 are new construction. And I think that's what you were alluding to, Greg, when you're saying these developers are starting to, you know, create some incentives for people to buy them.
Yeah, I mean, they don't, you know, when we see historical or at least 10-year lows in current inventory for residential homes, and then all of a sudden at the same period of time, you see increasing inventory for new construction. Now, they've also had good sales with new construction, but right now, as there's been a little bit of a disruption in the market, I think they're not comfortable carrying that much, that much inventory, that many homes on their portfolio, that many finished homes right now. So they're going to build in those incentives to bring that inventory level down. Now, let's just say this. There couldn't be better news for somebody that has a home in the Myrtle Beach area or Horry County that wants to sell. I mean, whenever there's low inventory at this level, it's a seller's market. So we're seeing, I believe, Abe, and correct me if you see something different, but we're seeing homes, we'll put them on the market, and in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they've got offers, maybe multiple offers, and they're really close to full price. So, you know, they're not having to negotiate. Again, that's typically a byproduct of low inventory. So not only do we see on the chart, we see low inventory, but we see negotiations resemble what it's, the negotiations that exist in a low inventory market, making it a good seller's market at the moment.
Absolutely agree. And even in all the talk in the economy right now with things being bad, us being, you know, unemployment I saw today is up to 29 million people. That's almost 20% of all the working population. We're still holding strong. And the reason I think that condo market's going to be a completely different conversation. We have to do a different episode on that one. We're seeing some things that are concerning there. But when it comes to single family homes in this market right now, I think what's holding us strong, and I think we'll continue to keep it strong, is the low level of inventory we're seeing. And there's still a lot of high demand for this area, Greg. There's still a lot of people moving down here. And I don't think that's going to change. It actually might increase as people might want to get out of the cities and all of that condensed population areas that, you know, after this COVID-19 thing, I think it's going to continue to grow. So I'm really bullish on our single family home market here in this town right now.
Yeah, I have the tendency to agree with that. You know, what's interesting is we have to take things day by day, you know, and Myrtle Beach Real Estate TV we're going to broadcast live, you know, once a week and give you all the latest news as to what's going on in the local real estate market. And, you know, Abe, we have to be prepared that next week the charts may look different, or in the next month they may look different. We just don't know what the long-term effects of the shutdown's going to be to the economy, the unemployment's going to be to the economy. We don't even want to pretend to know. But what we can do is make sure that we're paying attention, that we're studying the market, we're looking at the trends, and we're reporting the facts to help better guide the real estate community.
Absolutely, and the facts are right now things are looking really strong.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, great.
Yeah, I think that's it. For today's episode, if you all have any questions, just comment, reach out to us. We'd be glad to share any information we can with you. And please pay attention to the Myrtle Beach Real Estate TV. We're going to come at you once a week and just share as much valuable information as we can. Abe, as always, thank you so much for joining me.
Have a great day. You guys take care and be safe.
All right.